everyone, Sir Paradise, Pickin' Paradise, and I'm actually doing something a little out of the norm here. I saw this user, Beowulf-Murderface, on Reddit forum, and he was asking about a lot very similar to this guy. We're gonna go ahead and take a look at that keyway. This is not branded Ace, but it's very similar, and if I would have had time, I would have just grinded off the tops of right here, but you can kind of see a little bit. You kind of look at the side, you'll see like little round shapes. That's where they drill. Yeah, you can kind of see right there. If I wipe that just a little bit more, you'll be able to see the little circles there. So that's where they drill and tap and then fill the Bible for all the pins. So that's how they're assembled. They're a non-guttable lock unless you kind of like grind that out and then grub screw those. So anyway, they were having a little bit of trouble picking it and was fighting them. I commented pin 2 because pin 2 is very high. So a lot of times these locks will be a little tricky because they will have a really high set pin towards the front. And the problem with that is you have to kind of like really, like if it's really high, you've got to like, this is very exaggerated. Like in the back, that could be a high lift. Kind of look at that in the back, that could be a high lift, but in the front it's like this is a high lift. Like it's got to go way up, right? So it just feels more exaggerated. And 2 is definitely a very high lift on that lock. He showed the key. It was 1 was kind of, what was 1? 1 was like a high lift but not crazy. 2 was probably like a max lift. And then, yeah, actually I'm playing around with the camera too to kind of get better angles so you guys can see things a little bit better. So anyway, I just figured I would put this in the vise and see if I can't get it picked. Yes, I ripped this off of a shed. No, I'm just joking. I believe my sister sent this lock to me a long time ago. She got it like really cheap, and she had like a box full of stuff, and she had this in there. I think she got it like cheap or something. So anyway, another little point. I think my keyway might be slightly different than yours. I think you've got a traditional yell keyway. And if I can kind of show you what a traditional yell keyway looks like. I don't have one right here in front of me. Maybe I do. Yes. It's very similar to this. Yeah, they're basically the same. Sometimes you have to use a rotating motion to get around that there, because this lip, this one has little bitty cuts in there, but this lip on the wording here doesn't have grooves. So you can either sneak all the way to this side and do it, and that's actually a pretty good view, so we'll see if we can't use that view. And then I believe this lock is slightly bigger. I think this is like the 50mm version. I think you have the 40mm version. Doesn't really matter, they all have the same sort of insides. These locks are very common, but I do think you might have a tighter keyway because this is 50 thousandths and it fits right up top. So if you are working from the bottom, going to be really tough. Now also on your lock, Beowulf-Murderface, your lock has the very back 2 pins are going to need to be lifted very, very little or not at all. They look like 0 lifts or minimal lifts. And then 3 is a little bit higher, 2 is a max lift, and then 1 is a pretty high lift. So let's see if we can't get inside of here. And I'm applying light to medium tension, feeling for pin 1. I actually think I just overset pin 1, but I'm going to go down the pin stack and see what I can feel. Pretty hard binding back there on the back pin. Maybe something set there. They're pretty gummed up. This lock is. You can tell it's been out in the elements and being used. Now pin 1 dropped back down. So I think pin 1 is set. Pin 2 need a little massaging. Now mine is not going to pick like yours. So, and actually, as much as I was thinking about your key and your predicament that you were in, asking for help, I was I've got that key in my mind, and even though, you know, we're trying to pick off a feel, like I have the problem is if I see, you know, if I see a key, like I'm not gonna forget it. It's like that's what I'm aiming to mimic. So and then also, just like there, I'm struggling, I'm not getting anywhere. Reset the damn lock, because you may have overset something and you might not be getting anywhere. Now those are nice, really good sets. I felt those. They're all kind of talking. There we go. Just a little bit of tickling on 2, and this one opened. So, you know, I got some really good sets. The first round, I definitely had something overset. So I guess for the newer, more beginning, lower level stuff, you may be caught up on a spool, you don't really know, kind of keep that tension light, fluctuate the tension, and just tickle those pins a little bit. I hope that is useful, and keep in mind, guys, I don't only just pick challenge locks. I'm here to help as much as possible. So if somebody on the subreddit calls out and asks for help, or if you guys reach out on my YouTube channel and ask for help, if I've got the lock or if I think I can provide any kind of good stuff, I'll make a little video for you, but you got to ask specifically. Aloha.